Ordinance 2021-14, an ordinance of the Town of Phillipsburg, County of Warren, New Jersey, adopting the District 5 Riverside Industrial Amendment Riverfront Redevelopment Plan. Do I have a motion to adopt?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Thank you. Council discussion?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
So we got this very late with a lot of information that we haven't seen before. To be honest, we, as the redevelopment authority, we being the entire town council, haven't been privy to a lot of this information or the report from the planning board until it was, I want to say, close to, it was after 5 o'clock today. I haven't seen a concept. I heard from a rumor that it's a 500,000 square foot warehouse, but I don't know that to be true. When asked, I couldn't confirm it. I just don't understand why we as a redevelopment authority haven't discussed this more thoroughly. Look, I understand why a warehouse is attractive. It's because it's along the railroad. It's how we got 565 municipalities. So unless we want mini Phillipsburg, that's why we have 565 municipalities in the state of New Jersey, because of the railroads. That's what started the spawn of all the cities and the schools, and this is why New Jersey is the way it is. So I understand the attractiveness of a warehouse along the railroad. It's really not along the river, it's along the railroad. And that's what makes it attractive. However, I don't want to see my hometown become the next Robbinsville. And if nobody here knows what Robbinsville is, I highly recommend you look it up, because Robbinsville will be the new Lopatcon. You will not be able to get into the town of Phillipsburg if we become Robbinsville. Robbinsville, they all park in 3 separate towns because you can't get into Robbinsville because of all the trucks. In other words, they've had to hire companies. Heard of Amazon? Yeah, the town sued them because of the traffic it brought in, because the people couldn't get through their own town. I don't want to see that happen. We have a lot of, look, I like the bridge project. That's where these things belong, where the trucks can get on and the trucks can get off. I don't think they belong in our downtown. And again, if there's a magical proposal that makes this work for me, I haven't seen it. So it's hard for me to say yes to something. I have absolutely no idea what you're talking about. So I'm sitting here not knowing a darn thing about this project, expected to change the zoning for something in principle I don't even agree with, because the minute you take all that traffic off of South Main Street, you're going to decimate Main Street. You're going to have all of Main Street closing up because you're going to have trucks coming down there. Because I'll tell you right now, you've been down there when one of those trucks comes, everybody stops. One of those trucks tips over, we're going to lose a historic building. And it's going to happen. We've all been there. Anytime you're down Main Street, I'm down there every weekend. 3 businesses this weekend. It happens. Trucks get stuck. They're stuck already. You already can't get over the bridge. So again, between Robbins, again, look, one of my largest customers is in Robbinsville. It's how I know so much about them. I do this for a living. I put up billion-dollar buildings. I know where billion-dollar buildings belong. I know where million-dollar buildings belong. Honestly, I only deal with buildings that have 4 stories or more. But I can tell you, you don't put a warehouse in a downtown district. It's just not what you do. And, you know, selfishly, I'm tired of seeing Easton get all the nice projects and we get all the junk projects. I'm just tired of it. I don't want to see another warehouse in the town of Phillipsburg. I think they're strategically located off the highway, and I think that's exactly where they belong. I just don't think they belong along the river. I understand the railroad attraction. Again, if I saw a concept and it was a smaller scale, to be honest, what belongs there? Millennial Park. Just like Teachers Village. You could put up a Millennial Park right there for everybody working at the warehouse. You could have had Valley View ×2 right down there. I thought that was a beautiful concept. Right along the river. Would have been so attractive. And Single family market is the strongest market going into 2025. It is the single strongest market because inflation's very high, borrowing's very low. Single family market is the place to be because everybody's flocking out of the major cities again and they're coming to the suburbs. Single family homes are where the market is right now through 2025. Yes, economics part 2, but that's the strongest market right now. Warehouses, that market was strong 2 years ago. It's not as strong right now. Single family homes are going to be your strongest market because everybody's coming out of the city. And you know where they're coming? I did a survey. Maybe you all saw it. I did a survey. 70% of the people who took that survey said they came to Phillipsburg for one reason. What was that reason? It was affordable. So on that note, I'm a no, by the way. You didn't figure that out. Again, if I had information, I might think different, but I don't have anything to make me think otherwise.
Council President.
Yes, sir.
If I may, just to clarify 3 points. One point is we're not really discussing the plan before us. What we're discussing is the amended plan for use. There's not really a project that we're approving. That's what's before us now. Any project or concept goes before the planning board first and then comes back to us. So what we're doing tonight is just rezoning. I would have to disagree that warehouses were 2 years ago. If anyone has read the news story this morning, Nike just leased a 1 million square foot warehouse in Bethlehem, and it's projected to create almost 250 jobs for the Bethlehem residents. Now, I'm not saying that Nike's coming to the town of Phillipsburg, nor am I confirming that a warehouse will be built. I mean, I like Councilwoman DeGerolamo, saw what was written on a flyer. But again, there's
No, I didn't see any flyers.
Okay, so second, unless it hits the planning board first, again, I'm cautious to say that I'm voting on anything other than rezoning, simply because I haven't seen a concept. You know, a lot of what Ms. Harris brought before us this evening made a lot of sense. You know, again, that's something we'd have to discuss with the developer. I surely would not want to see them landlocked. I want to be able to see our residents get to the parks. I think we do need a separate exit way and ingress, maybe through the Howard Street passageway, as opposed to going down to McKean. It is impossible. And just to reiterate what Councilman Piazza said earlier, I sat on the planning board years ago when we approved the Peron project. I would have preferred to see residential areas down there. It's, again, not my land. And if unfortunately that project didn't happen, and the public came out with the very same type of arguments when the residential areas were proposed. They said the same thing: too much traffic, congestion, the sewer plant. It was all the same argument. We're just talking about industrial and residential. So I'm going to vote yes, and I'm going to fully support this project.
Thank you, sir.
I think Councilman or Councilwoman DeGerolamo hit the nail right on the head. I don't think this is conducive to our master plan, despite what the majority of the planning board indicated. I sat on the planning board when we did the master plan, and in no way did I ever think that we were going to allow warehouses in the Howard Street downtown area of our town. I can't see it, and you know, I don't think it rises to the master plans, despite what the planning board members have agreed to.
Thank you, sir.
If I could just remind everyone that there already is warehouses on Howard Street. They're smaller, but we do have them. We have a scrapyard. We have multiple warehouses. We have a gun range. We have a park that was built on top of 35 feet of municipal waste, which currently is a problem for that park. People in the municipal building are aware of that. So it's not like this warehouse is going someplace that is not conducive to that. I grew up about 50 feet from this area when there was actually more warehouses when there was a trucking company that was located back there. Currently, that property is overgrown. I think it needs to be developed. There's multiple times where there's barrels of oil dumped there. We were back there with somebody looking for properties in Phillipsburg, not on that land, but we see people walking up from that property, from the river. I would like to see it developed, regardless of what direction it goes, with lighting, so the cops can drive by and actually see a nice parking lot. So there is actual people back there going to work. I think that would be very conducive to keeping the crime element out. Where the more people you have in the area, the less likely people are going to look for places to kind of hide in a secluded area, which it is right now. And it's been an industrial area for about 100 years. When it used to be houses, it was taken away because they didn't have sewer and water. That was determined to be an industrial area for Phillipsburg. So I'm going to be a yes, because I've grown up with that area actually way more industrial than it is right now. I know what cleaner, more modern warehouses look like, and this one isn't all that big. I don't feel there's not the scrapyard element where trucks are going back there and dropping metal in the road, or propane canisters are blowing up. That actually did happen back there.
Was there?
Yeah, there was a chemical company back there. There's a plot of land that can't be built on because of the chemical spill. So that's one piece of, so, I mean, if you want houses back there, that's something you're gonna have to tangle with as well. So I'm gonna be a yes, because I do feel that is the area for this.
I might remind you that several years ago, SMP wanted to put a trucking company back in there, in that site, that exact site, and the planning board turned them down because of all the truck traffic at that time.
Sure.
Was there a thoroughfare between Howard Street being discussed at that time, Councilman?
No.
Just out of curiosity.
No,
Thank you.
it still ended up on South Main.
Oh, no, I wasn't arguing. I just was curious before. I know that, again, we're not discussing a project, but should a project come before us, I would hope that that thoroughfare would be built. Again, the public is not aware that there are stipulations that came along with the planning board and 6 criteria that that the developer would have to meet. And one of those would be that thoroughfare, that under their recommendations. So I just want to make sure that, not everybody's getting the wrong idea. I mean, we're sitting here discussing a warehouse. Again, it could be a warehouse, could be a distribution center. I don't know. I wouldn't mind seeing a whole bunch of handball places down there, like Reggie.
I already picked that out. I suggested that to Mary Jo 2 years ago. Right back in that area. Right back in that area too. I told her, I said, Mary Jo, I got the perfect thing for this area.
Well, we're not exactly sure. It still can't be done. I just want to reiterate, we're voting on the zoning change, not a specific project. That's all.
Oh, boy. All right. Thank you. And I have a lot I was kind of saved for the second reading or my open time, but there has been such a robust conversation by our council, and this is why I'm so proud to lead this council, as we have such diverse thoughts and ideas. I just need a minute here to think about how I'm going to play this, because really, as Council Vice President just said, this is nothing more than just voting on the revised redevelopment. So we're getting into a lot of talk, a lot of passionate talk. I just would like to take a second to think about how I'm going to proceed. And actually, while I'm going to take this second, I'm going to get a coffee table book on my end table. So hold on a minute.
I love this guy. I really do.
Okay. Councilwoman, I do apologize if you didn't get anything. This was something that came in late. I go on planning board meetings and I listen and this is clearly out there. If you're on social media, it's clearly out there. If you are receiving emails, it's clearly out there. You know more about this project than I do. So I don't know if it's being, everyone's saying the W word, the warehouse word. Everyone's saying the L word. That's the Lambertville word. I really don't know where to start other than I know Robbinsville very well. I had an apartment there. If you go on Route 33 in Robbinsville, if you go to Hoagie King, get the number 4. I get the Italian. That's the super spicy Italian. I get a no tomato. It's excellent. Next time in Robbinsville, I do recommend going there. This is a mixed use area. A lot of talk about Lambertville tonight. Let me just tell you something right now. I don't know if anybody knows this or not, but Lambertville's population is 3,882. In 1960, our population was 18,502. In 1930, it was 19,255. In 2010, I want to see the 2020 numbers is probably around 14,400. You know why? Because we were industry and we had jobs. That's part of our heritage and that is our history. We are almost 20,000 strong. You cannot compare us to Lambertville. We have Union Square is Lambertville. You cannot compare us to a town of 3,000 people. You want to go Frenchtown? You want to go New Hope, 2,500. You want to go Frenchtown, 1,400. You want to go Peaburg, 20,000 in almost 1930, and they're gone. You know why they're gone? Because the jobs are gone. You know why the jobs are gone? Because industry's gone. We have a mixed use. We have a bunch of empty houses and empty storefronts, and I'm tired of looking at it. And that's why I'm quite proud to be on the Riverfront the Redevelopment Committee. It's a mixed use. Commissioner Director James Kern said it best that Phillipsburg can actually walk, their legislative officials can walk and chew gum at the same time. And that's exactly what we can do with residential. As I spoke earlier today in the phone call I had that Councilman Piazza had earlier this morning, and then I had later on today regarding I can't give the number out, but the amount of people that want to drop on a piece of land here that they want to build residential. We've had a meeting about 2 weeks ago with the Union Square waterfront people with the formerly State Line United that wants to also use a tract of land to build residential to go along with our riverfront redevelopment. Along with that is a parcel of land, 31 acres, owned by a developer that we don't own, but somehow we're shoving it down his throat, telling him what he should build there. Let somebody walk in your house and tell you what color to paint the kitchen, and I want to hear your remarks to that. This is a developer that is looking to do something good. Do something instead of just sitting there. For those of you who have come downtown with Council Vice President and I sat down in the freezing cold and walked downtown, we got permission to walk on that land. You saw stuff that you never saw before. And you know what you didn't see? You didn't see the river, because the river is not viewable from this parcel of land. So I appreciate you giving me that minute to think about how I wanted to handle this. I was going to stay quiet in the second reading. It's Phillipsburg. It's what we are. We were almost 20,000 strong, but not anymore because it's going away. But in our book, it's backwards. We're industry, right? But that's gone. We can walk and chew gum at the same time. I'm a yes. Deputy Clerk Loudonberry, roll call, please.
Councilman Wyant,
No.
Councilman Piazza,
Yes.
Councilwoman DeGerolamo,
No.
Council Vice President Fulper,
I'm not going to yell it, so I'll just say it yes nicely.
Council President McVey.
Yes. Thank you very much.